this edition of Neat Unfiltered with myself, Kenyon Martin, presented by only the best vodka, Grey Goose. And basketballnews.com, we have actor, comedian, director, the host of I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Joining me, ladies and gentlemen, my man Rap, Michael Rapaport.
What up, Kmart?
What's up, brother?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, living life, man, staying out of harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying my current circumstance, man.
Good.
I'm on cloud nine, brother.
I mean, I got to ask you, man. I mean, I texted you, man. You must be. I mean, your son got drafted to the NBA, man. I mean, your career and your journey is totally different than his. But to see your son get drafted, how bugged out is that? Like, how much of a trip, because you're not that far out of the league and your journey and everything that you went through to get to the NBA. And then, you have a son, and then, I mean, how hard it is to make it to the NBA. Are you tripping out off of that?
Oh yeah, man. I was telling my wife earlier, man. I was thinking about it, he in the NBA. I'm still like it really ain't all the way sunk in yet. You know what I'm saying? Like me seeing his jersey and me seeing him at media day and hearing him answer questions and me reflecting back to when I was playing and he were on the stage with me and doing the finals and the playoff runs and things like that. I'm still like somebody needs to pinch me. I'm still having a hard time believing that it's real, but it's definitely real,
man. I'm sure because, as a father, everybody's like, oh, my son's this. And then, your son actually, all the trials and tribulations and the skill and the luck and the hard work and the God's gift and the staying healthy. I mean, the NBA, it's crazy. And, I know it's got to be, it's got to be crazy, man, to see that, man, especially, I mean, you were such a fucking beast in the NBA, and then to see it's just crazy, man. Like every time I see him, I'm like, that is bugged out. Like, yo, that's my guy's son. Like, that's crazy.
It's definitely one of them old shit moments. Like oh shit, like it really happened.
Like now that he's in the area, like how do you separate yourself from like being an overbearing dad, but also being a dad that has information, has insight, who knows the game, who knows all the tricks of the trade, who could see weaknesses in other players? Like, how are you sort of divvying out your dad versus, like that's your son. Yo, I want you to know, like this dude can't go left, or, like how do you divvy out that information?
Yeah, like he's been good at absorbing whatever it is that I've been telling him over the last 3-4 years. So over the last year, I've kind of started to tailor that part of it off a little bit, but still giving him clues and like if I see certain things, like we watch games together. Like I'll sit there and rewind it. Like, okay, did you see this? Or did you see that? He'd be like, oh no, I didn't see that. Oh no, but what about this? So we still do things like that. But I'm trying to let him come into his own because every team is different, every terminology is different. But I'm still gonna always give my input,
right?
Because it's only coming from a place of help. You know what I'm saying? I only want to see you get the best out of how it is, however long you're going to play. You know right. So that's what it's about for me. It's not about me because I didn't win a title or make multiple All-Stars. It ain't about none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's about making sure I give him all the information that I have, because I was told before by someone who I respect in the game that if I didn't coach or give back to the game, then I cheated it.
Right.
So
right.
now my son is in it. But I've been giving him all the information that I have, man. And he's been a good sport about it, man. Of course, I'm pretty sure at times I get on his nerves, but he understands where it's coming from. And if you hear him do his interviews and things like that now, I can tell that he appreciates it.
I'm sure, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Well, I'm so happy for you, man.
Appreciate it, man. Man.
It bugs me out.
Man. It's definitely a great feeling, man. But you growing up in New York, man.
Yep.
Upper East Side?
Upper East Side of Manhattan. Yep. And, Upper East Side, grew up playing ball in the 70s and the 80s, 80, 81, 82, basketball, hoop dreams, fell in love with basketball, and it was something that, even though I didn't obviously make a career of it, like the passion, the focus, the goal of, wanting to be a professional basketball player, like that was like really in my head, that experience and the camaraderie and the, not even so much the actual basketball, but the going to the games, the coming from the games, the friendships, the competitiveness, the team, the shit talking, all that stuff was just a huge part of my life, especially, growing up in New York, because especially back then, I mean, I don't know how it is now. I'm sure teenagers, they get out there, but back then it was like, you rode your bike, you got on the bus, you got on the train. Like the city was, my parents never were like, you can't go here, you can't go, like you just were out. And like that's just what you did. There was no video games, there was no cable.
You had to be outside.
Yeah, and you just, especially, especially if you love, sports, and before basketball was all the sports, but once I really fell in love with basketball, like it was just out all the time, playing ball, trying to, find the best games and play against the best people possible, and just the fun of it. I mean, this shit was just so much fun. When you look back on it, it was just fun.
Yeah. All right, so you had a chance to play at Rucker or any one of the known parks that people go get that good bump in? I'm saying, were you able or fortunate enough to play in those?
I mean, the best place that I ever played at consistently is a place in Brownsville, Brooklyn, which isn't one of these like, places that's on like Google. It's in the projects called Howard Park, Howard House.
Oh, that's always that good bump. That good bump.
This is that bump. Yeah. And this is where Dwayne Pearl Washington, Jerry Ice Reynolds, World Be Free. These dudes used to be in the park. Like World used to be in the park in the off season. And, and I would go out there because my boy is from Brooklyn, and we met, playing ball, and, he's from Brownsville, and you go out there and like, Pearl would be out there, and James Majors from UConn, and Jerry Ice Reynolds. And, obviously I wasn't playing with them. We were 10, 11, 12 years old, but they would play. And then, the young teenagers would play, and it was that straight up, no blood, no foul. I was the only white dude in the neighborhood, and they told me like, yo, when you don't call no bullshit fouls, don't like, it was that was the best basketball I ever saw outside of like, pro or even like these high school, summer camps. Like it was just physical. It was aggressive. It was, it wasn't a lot of jump shooting. This is before sort of, New York City learned to develop the jump shot. This is when it was the point guard era.
Get to the basket,
and nobody was thinking about shooting. And it was just physical, rough, great basketball. And that, and then, when he started playing in like the citywide in the leagues and stuff like that, we would see, I play with Kenny Anderson, Malik Sealy when we were 12, 13, 14, 15. And then, when I was about 15, 16, the gap gets wide quick. Yeah. Dudes start growing. It's like dudes are 6'6".
Start jumping high, running faster. I'm saying all that shit.
Like, and dudes are like, young men, kids go from, kids to young men quickly. Yeah. And, but, I was always there playing, and it was just a dope, part of, just being out there, being around, in the neighborhood.
And shit talking.
And just having fun. Like I loved it. And, and I loved the basketball of it, but it was really it wasn't so much the games. It was before the games, after the games, to the games. That. And that it was just, and it was New York, in the 80s and in the 90s, it was dope.
Yeah, I could only imagine, man, growing up and seeing some of the talent and things that you saw in some of these parks and these runs. I'm saying, because like, New York, the Mecca of a lot of things, and basketball is one of them. Playing outdoors in parks is one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Where you grew up, did you guys play in the parks, or were you in gyms a lot?
Some people played in parks, man, but I was very fortunate. Our local gym was the Salvation Army, so we always had access to the gym.
Right.
So we had a little league coach, Coach Phillips, that made sure that we had access to the gym always to try to keep us off the streets and out of trouble.
Got you.
So we always, like during football season, we would go in the gym after and go hoop. He always made sure during baseball season, after practice games, we always go in the gym and hoop. All summer long, he made sure that if it wasn't camps and all that stuff at the gym, we had access to it. I'm saying, so no, just always making sure that we can be at the gym, man. And people, when I tell people that I probably can count how many times I played outside. They're like, damn, you from the hood. I'm like, exactly. Like we had a gym to go to, and we was fortunate enough that he had that mentality to try to keep us off the street. He succeeded with a lot of us, but a lot of us, I'm saying, of course, you're gonna have a group of, it's both. I'm saying some of us one street, one foot in the streets and want to play sports. Some of us all in on one side. So that's just the way it was, man.
Yeah. I mean, New York, it was, I mean, now it's different but New York, I mean, the aesthetic of New York, you walk around anywhere in New York City, there's basketball courts outside. Yeah. I mean, they don't get used as much as they used to and as they should. Sometimes they're playing rollerblading on them and whatever. But I mean, it's just part of whatever.
All kind of nut shit. I'll be driving through New York when I was out there, like, yo, nah, that ain't what that's used for.
Yeah. It was. I mean, but that's just the aesthetic of New York City. So it was just you could find a place where dudes would play 2-on-2, 3-on-3, fulls. It was magic. It was magical. It was dope. So much fun.
All right. So besides sports, right? Like both of your parents grew up in radio.
Yep.
So were you at the studios a lot? Were you around that kind of like entertainment, and that's where this passion for TV and things came about, or you just organically were you and things happened a certain way and you just went from there?
You know, the radio station was, you know, my father's workplace, but when I would go there, and this is literally before, you know, there was any technology, like, you know, I'd go there when I was 7, 8, 9, 10 after school sometimes, or in between whatever. And you know, the thing I remember about it was the DJ. You'd literally see the DJ on live radio put the needle on the record, you know, and you're a little kid in there and he's like, don't come near here. Don't come. Cause you know, it can't skip. That's the way it was played. So, you know, like that was definitely the music, being around the music and having, you know, there would be music, you know, records coming in. He would bring records home all the time. And then, you know, in 1979, which seems like so long ago, you know, my father, because the radio station was a disco station, he brought home a promotional copy of the Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight. And I was 9 and he was like, this is called rap music. It's going to be a big deal. And that shit, you know, like everybody else, but like, you know, we were like, what the fuck is this? You know, like, it was just like, what is this? And it was this big, you know, 12-inch orange copy of Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight. But like, I mean, I fell in love with it, and, you know, and then the rest with hip hop is history. But, you know, like at a young age, like I was just like, it was sports, but, you know, as far as like, you know, acting and all that stuff, like I loved movies, but I never wanted to do it. I wanted to be like the characters in the movie. Like I wanted to be them. And then when I was like 16, 17, I started realizing I was not going to college on a scholarship. I wasn't going to St. John's, and my Chris Mullen dreams were over. And, you know, I wasn't going to Baylor, and, you know, I had these ideas in my head, you know, like, and I had started, you know, I went to these basketball camps, and I remember when I was 16, I was at the 5-star basketball camp. But did you go to 5-star?
No, I wasn't that fortunate, but I remember it. You know what I'm saying? Like I have some friends and everybody that went, but yeah, I wasn't blessed enough to get to go.
Come on, man. I mean, you weren't invited, or like how?
Not at all.
Really?
I wasn't that good, rap.
When you were 16, 17, you weren't like one of these all-American dudes?
Nah, man, I just played hard.
Oh,
I played with a type of ferociousness that hadn't been seen coming out of a kid. You know what I'm saying? I just played a certain way. Like I ran, jumped, played hard, blocked shots, dunked everything, and would slap the shit out you in a minute. So
when did you start to get that heat, you know, like that, you know, high school, American, you know, college, you know?
I mean, I got the chance to go to ABCD camp by chance. I caught a Greyhound bus from Dallas to Jersey because we couldn't afford a plane ticket.
Wow.
Yeah. So the hunger, I had an invitation. It was right there in front of me. Didn't have any means. My mom them scrounged up enough money to give me a bus ticket. And I went, and I just was me. I'm saying, at them camps.
And you were fucking just busting people's asses and shit.
Yeah, just playing hard, doing what I do, blocking everything, dunking everything, protecting, like just play, always playing hard. Every time I took the floor, there was no letdown ever.
Who were the other dudes? Like, who were the hype dudes? Like, who in your class? Like in your
Kobe Bryant, 1996. I'm saying I came out of high school '96.
So who were the
Kobe, Tim Thomas, the kid Lester Earl, Shaheem Holloway.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was that bunch.
Damn. So I mean, so in Kobe in high school, did he stick out? Like, I mean,
it's just his personality did at ABCD. Like, he was walking around doing things that nobody else was doing. Like, had a big ass radio, like walking around with a jam box playing music loud. Like, people was all around him, always catering to him and things like that. And I didn't know nothing then, man. I was green.
Right.
Like,
right.
I was green, man. All that shit was foreign to me, bro.
Like, all that, like, hype, all American. Like, you weren't one of these debutantes and shit.
Nah, man. So every time I played against them dudes, like, I brought it. Like, I'm saying, like, it was what it was. Like, I didn't have no fear of none of them. Yeah. Like, I had no fear of none of them motherfuckers, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm out there playing against dudes with names, and I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? You ain't from where I'm from. You ain't from Oak Cliff. I have no fucking idea who you are, but you gonna lace these things up and we gonna get to it.
And it wasn't like now where like I mean, what do you think? I mean, obviously things have changed.
Yeah.
And like going back to your son and your experience is different, but do you, like, I was talking to my man the other day. I mean, we've talked about this and think, there's positives. We can't go back to 1996. We can't go back to 1984. But do you think, like, the majority, like, you didn't know who a lot of these dudes were? Social media obviously wasn't the same. Yeah. You didn't grow up seeing Joe Schmo from this city and that city, and 13 years old. You see these guys on it. I feel like I know some of these kids on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely. Personally. Like, fucking personally.
Fucking crazy. I'm like, this is a 15-year-old. I'm like, I don't even know. Like, I'm watching them, like, their highlights. Oh, this is the guy. And,
yeah.
But what do you think in terms of, how do you think that affects these athletes, these young athletes, the basketball players, because they seem so, they're like debutantes, like
they're in awe. They're in awe of each other. They're in awe of likes. They're in awe of being notarized for doing nothing, basically. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're decent now, like some of y'all gonna have to go to school for 4 years and go get a damn job.
Right.
Like
you might have been ill in the 11th grade.
Yeah, you the fucking man right now. But it catches up. I'm saying it catches up, and being honest, man. Like, being honest with these kids. Like, and not kissing their ass and blowing smoke up their ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be honest with them.
In terms of the coaches and the parents and shit.
Yeah, it all started home first and foremost.
Right.
Because I mean, started home, and then putting your kids around. Yeah, man, I've been around them. AAU basketball, like traveling. Like, I missed maybe one AAU game in 2 years. I'm saying, so I was around. And just seeing the shit from other players, like, they got these kids ranked 1, 2, 3 in the class, and these shoe companies and all these other people are fucking catering to these kids, man.
And they get treated like they're in the NBA.
Yeah,
like
they get absolutely, because they're looking at them as a check. Like, they're looking at them as a future check. Yeah.
And we talk about playing in the park. I'm like, these dudes don't. Like, it's like these. I don't know. It's
these kids work. Listen, they would rather go do skill work and do that kind of thing than play. Like, a lot of them just want to go work on work on their ball handling, work on this, work on that without playing.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I mean, for the ones who make it, it's like, great.
Yeah, definitely. It's great for them, but some of that other shit, man, like, it's like you set them up for failure.
Yeah, I agree. Because, I mean, shit, the fucking NBA, how many players are in the league? Like, at the end of when there's the
400,
and
it might be 450. I'm saying tops.
And that shit gets, I mean, the gap closes. Talk about a gap closing, because I mean, you guys are the fucking best of the best of the best of the best, And
so just call it 300, 350 to 400 players.
Right. 350. Isn't it 350?
It's 350. So now they're adding a couple kids to each roster now because of COVID and all that. So just call it roughly 400. But still, though, just think about these numbers that we're talking about. We're talking about hundreds, right? Just think how many college seniors there are.
Right.
Okay, And just think how many college juniors there are.
Right. Right.
And them kids' chances of getting drafted, if you're a junior or senior, drafted in the first round or early in the second round or at all, you know what I'm saying? Like, or slim and none.
Because if you've waited that long, you probably aren't that dude, right?
That's what they think.
That's
what
crazy.
That's what they classify you as now. Like, you're too old. If you're 21 years old, you're too old.
That is fucking insane. Yo, that's like, fucking crazy.
The earlier, the better. Although the holiday season will look a bit different, we're still excited to celebrate the good with only the best vodka, Grey Goose. We won't have to focus on lost luggage, flight delays, crowded airports, or holiday traffic. Instead, we can focus on the things we love most about the holidays. And of course, celebrating only the best moment pairs well with only the best vodka, Grey Goose. Visit greygoose.com, and in one click, you can have a Grey Goose Holiday Punch cocktail kit delivered to your door. The Grey Goose Holiday Punch cocktail kit comes with everything you will need to make a holiday punch: Grey Goose vodka, pomegranate juice, sweetened black tea, martini and Rossi Prosecco, and garnishes. Everything you will need to impress your holiday squad. And we won't tell them how easy it was. Cheers. Sip responsibly. Imported by Grey Goose Importing Company, Coral Gables, Florida. Vodka, 40% alcohol by volume, distilled from French wheat.
Were you bugging that first year? Like when you were at Cincinnati, were you like, I'm not ready? Or you knew, like, were you like, I'm not that good?
No.
You what?
I just went out there and did what I did. I knew what I knew how to do.
Right.
And I didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
So you got what I knew.
Right.
And that's play hard, block shots, dunk everything. And if it come down to it, we're going to come from the shoulders with it, and I'm going to bust you in your mouth. So straight the fuck up. Like, that's what it was, man. Like, seriously, like, you know, when you're a freshman in college, like, you're supposed to look up to seniors, and seniors supposed to be like them dudes on teams, and like they supposed to get all the privilege and all this. Man, my freshman year, man, I beat up the starting center on the team. He's a senior. I'm a freshman. Like, one of my first 4 practices, rap. Yo, literally one of my first few practices. Beat the hell out of him in practice, man. Like, I'm 18 at the time. I'm 19 at the time. So my birthday had happened. So yeah, I put my hands on the starting center, big white dude. Jackson Jules, 6'10". Big, yeah. I told him, God damn it, Jackson, protect yourself. Like, man, I beat the hell out of him, man. Like,
shit.
Yeah, I was a freshman, but I ain't know no better.
Yo, you know what else I wanted to ask you about? Our guy Nate. What the fuck, listen, man? Because I know you love boxing, and let me just say this: I'm not making light of the shit because, you know, I mean,
no, fuck that. Listen, yo,
no, but that's our guy. That's your dude.
That's my dude. And had he called me before he got his ass in that ring, I would have told him, you're making a grave mistake, man.
Right.
Like,
but you know, we're making the thing that's fucked up though is we're making it seem like this dude Jake Paul is like a fighter.
That's fine, but we don't know how long he been training, rap.
Right.
We don't know if this dude like had aspirations as a kid to be in the Golden Gloves or to make it past that, and he trained, and then things happened or whatever the case may be. We don't know none of that shit.
Right.
The dude got a ring at his house.
Right.
Like, obviously, he got something with it. Like, I don't know to what extent. He might not be fucking Floyd. He might not be one of these other dudes, but he definitely had more than him. And he had a fight before. I don't care what point it was. He was in that ring before.
Right. Because you could tell Nate was nervous. You could tell he wasn't able to, like.
Yeah, adrenaline, nerves, all that was that first round, that first knockdown, all that was prevalent.
Yeah.
And you thought, when he was laying on the ground face down, rubbing the back of his goddamn head, I would hope the thought process was going through his head, like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into?
I know he was like, what the fuck have I got myself into? But I mean, I was like, you know what's fucked up? Because you're a boxing fan, and I came to your crib. I can't remember what fight we watched.
Yeah.
And your wife threw down some crazy shit, some crab legs, some crazy shit.
Yeah, she gets it in.
Fuck, man, those are the good old days, man. Damn, that sucks.
Yeah. We get back to it, brother.
I know, man. But the crazy shit about, I mean, I know it's an exhibition fight and I'm going to pay, but the fucking crazy shit about boxing now is that we're going to pay. I'm going to pay. I know you're going to fucking pay. You could say you're not going to pay, but the day of, or you're going to pay. Now there's going to be an exhibition fight with one of the greatest fighters of all time and a guy on YouTube. This is how fucked up boxing is.
Rap, I can promise you this. And my word is my word. The last fight Floyd had, when he fought Conor,
yes,
whatever it was, I didn't pay for that.
You're not paying for this?
And I'm not paying for this shit. Floyd not finna exploit me like he doing the fucking masses, man. Like, no, if you want to box, motherfucker, go box somebody. Go tighten them up and go call out Bud Crawford or fucking
he don't want to fight nobody.
Errol Spence. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
this is an easy payday.
One of your last fights you fought. Listen, Andre Berto is my man. I like Berto, but your last real fight you fought him, so you handpicked him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear none of that shit. Like, I'm
watching it. I'm fucking watching it.
Well, because I don't like going over people's houses and watching fights and all that shit. So I'm gonna be where I'm gonna be, and I'm not paying for it, bro. I can promise you.
Did you watch Nate?
Yeah, because I wanted to see Roy and Mike.
Right.
And Nate made my night.
God damn.
Like, yo, I laughed so hard, man. Yo, people, you shouldn't laugh, man. Listen, dog. No, he shouldn't have got his ass in the ring. Then I wouldn't have had nothing to laugh at.
Yeah, man. Fuck, man. I know he's gonna be fine and all that shit, but I was just like,
fine.
Hey, now,
people like he got paid, man. They can keep that check. Like,
right.
All money ain't good money. All money ain't good money, bro.
Hey, listen, I ain't trying to fight nobody, boxing nobody for no money.
Listen, Mike. I didn't have plenty of fights in my day, bro. Plenty of fights. I'm not afraid to fight anybody to this day. I avoid as many as I can because I'm too old to be boxing, but I wouldn't get in the ring now without no experience.
It's a different thing.
Not that dude, you fighting 23, you 36. He's a naturally bigger human being than you. I don't give a fuck how big of an athlete that you might be. This ain't got nothing to do with jumping and running fast, bro. Like nothing. It got something to do with body mass, punching power, and the ability to get out of the way of punches. And you showed none of the above.
Yeah, and he just wasn't able to get comfortable. I thought that Nate because I've always looked at like these little dudes, like Muggsy Bogues and Nate Robinson, even AI. Like there's a sentimentality. Like these guys are like a little, if you're Nate Robinson to begin with, you're not seeing things the way normal people are because you're like, you play basketball in the NBA, you're 5'9". Muggsy Bogues.
You've been that height. Yeah, you've been that height for a long time. So you got to be dialed in a different way.
Yeah, so I thought like that mentality would help him, but it didn't fucking help him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because you got to be.
I know.
Muggsy Bogues has got to be like his brain isn't normal. He's 5'3". He played in the NBA for 13, 14. He's not like thinking normal.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you 1,000%. Like that is. Yeah, something wrong with him, and something was definitely wrong for Nate for getting his ass in that ring, man. Like I'm a firm believer in that, man.
Yeah, like I hear you.
So let's get like how was just like you doing stand up and things like that, man? Like was that like you being you? Was you like had you always had like that wicked sense of like train of thought? Like that's what I like for you to be a comedian. Like I feel you have to have a wicked like train of thought or some things. Like you can't, most things that people don't think are funny, you find humor in. Like, so was that always part of your personality growing up? Did you develop that as a teenager or later? Like when did that part kick in and you knew that like stand up could be something that you could like?
I've always been a shit talker. I've always been a, funny dude. I've always been, quick with my mouth, and growing up, it's like you either had to be real good with, ball. You either had to be real good with your hands. You had to be like a stick-up kid, like a fucking criminal, good with books, or funny dude. I was the funny dude. I could play ball a little bit, but that wasn't my superpower. And then when I started doing it, when I first started doing it, I wasn't that good, but I was, I was fearless. I wasn't scared because so much of it, you talk about mentality of the athletes and shit. Like so much of it is not being scared. You can't pull your punches. You got to just go. And some people are going to laugh sometimes. I mean, on any given night, things could go your way or things cannot go your way. The audience might not be into it. They might be tired. You just might not be on your game. You might be off. They just might not like you. So you just have to like be fearless that, it could go wrong and you just have to keep going. And I wasn't scared, as I've gotten older and I got back into stand-up, I have more to talk about, more life experience and just more understanding of the craft of it because, these comedians, they make the shit look so easy, but it's hours upon hours upon hours of going to clubs, practicing bits, writing bits, thinking about the bit, going back to the club, trying it. Just like if you're perfecting like a fucking a jump hook with your offhand, it's just you keep trying. Then you try it in practice, and you try it in the game. Then you try it in the game off the pivot. It's the same thing like developing a bit, and you just have to keep doing it. And I love doing it. It's a lot of fun, and it's never the same. Never one show is the same. Never one night is the same. And as far as like, what I do as far as like acting and the stand-up comedy is just so unpredictable. And because it's live, it's an immediate response. There's a sort of, you never go on stage kind of just chilling. There's always a little bit of that because there's even if there's 10 people there, you're doing a show,
and there's a chance it can go fucking south. Like there's a chance,
and,
like
so like even if it's a small show or just like a late show, there's always a little bit of that. And I respect people's time and respect people's money.
That's what's
up.
And
if you came out, even if it's a little bullshit show,
whatever it is,
I want to try to give you something. I want to try my best to give you something. And even though sometimes it doesn't go your way, you have to respect the fact, especially now. But I've always had an understanding and a respect. Like if motherfuckers come out, it's a show. It's you want to give them their money's worth. At least try to. Sometimes it could be. Sometimes the best shows are the ones that suck because people. It could be funny watching you look, just fail and the jokes ain't working and, you get mad. I mean, I get mad at the crowd. And
definitely.
but it's just fun. I like doing it. And the immediacy of it is so much different than acting because acting, it's, you shoot it and then you do it again and then you shoot it again. And I love that. But, you don't see the finished product sometimes for months and months and months. And that's dope too. It's a different skill set, but that immediacy of stand-up comedy is the best thing.
All right. So who are some of the comedians that you looked up to growing up? Like did you listen to the Red Foxes of the world and the Richard Pryors and Robin Harris's of the world? Like, did you listen to those guys, or was it more
all of you
coming up? Yeah.
I mean, Eddie Murphy was my number one dude. He was my number one dude. Like I literally wanted to be Eddie Murphy. Like I didn't want to be a comedian. Like I wanted, like I walked around in a leather jacket. Like I was bugging. Like I was like, 12 years old, 13 years old in New York City, white kid. It doesn't matter. But I'm walking around in a leather jacket with no shirt. I was bugging.
Hey, that's what's up. It had that kind of influence.
Like I was out there, like to go out on, I'm going to school on the bus, like the public transportation system in a fucking leather jacket with a gold chain and no shirt.
Please tell me this motherfucking jacket wasn't purple. Was it purple?
I wish I had one. My shit was white. But think about that. How fucking nuts that is.
Yeah. Nah, you had to, like I said, you had to be off a little bit.
But Eddie was my dude. Richard Pryor, Robin Williams. I mean, all those dudes. Arsenio Hall was his show was a big influence to me.
Okay.
I mean, all those comedians. Robert Townsend, even Jerry Seinfeld when he was younger. I mean, all those guys. But Eddie was like, he was such a. I mean, at that time in sort of pop culture, it was. Michael Jackson, Madonna, Eddie Murphy, and then came Michael Jordan. But like there was like a few people that were just boom, that were like, they were
so happened beyond. Most of them was named Mike. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, right?
Tyson, Jordan, Jackson.
Yep.
You know Any one of them. You know what I'm saying? So to piggyback on your Eddie Murphy thing, so how was it to work with him in the movie Metro then? Like, was you in awe? Was you like, was he as funny on set? Because I know it was kind of a serious movie, but did it still have those moments where you were like, oh fuck, that's Eddie, man? Like,
I was bugging, man. I was bugging the whole time. You know, I was bugging out the whole time. You know, I didn't love the movie because I felt like the director didn't let us be funny, and I was so like, you know, it's like being a point guard to have your best score, and like I knew how to pass on the ball, and you know, the director would be like, you know, we want it to be like this, but you know, to have that experience and like, you know, talk to him, I got to answer, you know, ask him questions, and we would bullshit around and just, you know, like, I mean, it was surreal, it was bugged out, but you know, when you're with him and you're actually working, you know, you're professional and you're doing your thing, but there was never not a time where I was like, yo, this is fucking bugged out. Like this is like crazy. Like I'm working with this dude because you're so familiar with his laugh, with his voice, with his fucking goatee. Like, you know, like you don't realize it, but then when you're right in front of the dude, like, you know, like you just, you know, his fucking teeth, he got the gap tooth. Like I was bugging the fuck out, but he was real cool with me and, you know, and tell me all sorts of stories. And, you know, one of the best stories that he told me, this is crazy, is, I don't know. We were in the car and we were listening to Prince, like the radio was on and Prince was playing it. And I think I asked him like, yo, you ever meet Prince? Or, you know, like, and as knowing that he's met him, like, I'm like, you know, Prince was another fucking star at the time. And he said, Prince, or he said, Prince could ball. And he told me the story that Charlie Murphy did on the Chappelle show. He down to the shirts versus blouses. He told me that story before, like this was years before that. And he said, you know, he came out, he's putting the ball between his legs. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. He said, he had on some like, you know, some sequin see-through shit, but he was balling. He was busting Charlie's ass. And when they did that Chappelle show, shirts versus blouses, I had already heard that from Eddie Murphy years before, so like, and I knew it was coming because I was like, oh shit, this is the story he told me. So it was dope. I mean, like, I don't, that fan in me for when I get to work with people that I love and that I respect so much, I still have that to this day. Like I still, you know, I'm able to be a pro and all that shit. I'm not going to be like, you know, up there, you know, on them, but like I always will have that.
In their fucking trailer and shit like that. They come in and you got coffee for them. You got coffee for them. I want to do it.
But you know, like I always have that appreciate, like that fan in me will always be alive. Same with basketball, you know, like with you guys, like I'm like, you know, when we were doing the big three to be around Doc, like Doc was my fucking, there was no Bruce Lee. There was no Batman. There was no, like, Dr. J was my fucking superhero. And like, you know, I'm doing the big three, you know, you're on the plane with him and all that shit. I'm bugging. And even with AI and like when I first met you, like, because I remember when I saw you play in Jersey, like, you know, I'd go out to Jersey, watch you, you know, like NBA dudes are, you know, like, I'm like, oh shit. But Dr. J was like,
that's Dr. J. Like, that's
the fuck is, you know,
like,
Iceman.
Yeah, like them dudes, like them, that's like around Mount Rushmore kind type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you bug out off of that. You know, like I'll never take those dudes or take those moments for granted with ball players and with actors that I love. Cause that fan in me will always, even I'm 50 years old, I'll still always have that, you know, just being excited about it. Cause I think once you lose that excitement and you're too cynical and you take the moments for granted and you take the opportunities for granted, I think then it might be time to wrap it up.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, nah, definitely. You always want to keep that, I'm saying, that perspective. I'm saying about your environment, about your craft, about the people that you work with and things like that. Nah, man, I get it 1,000, man. Yeah, so speaking of the big three, like how did, like when you started doing the sideline, like had that been something that you had thought about before or the big three was like, okay, we got a position for you or something we think that you'll be good at and you just jumped at it?
You know, it never even crossed my mind. Obviously, I love talking sports. You know, I don't try to act like an analyst. I don't try to act like a player. You know, the analysts are great. The people that have all the stats, they're great. You guys as the players, you're going to have a whole other perspective, which is dope too. I'm just a fan. You know, I treat it as a fan. I know what I know. I know what I don't know, but I'm not trying to be Marv Albert. I'm not trying to be, Jimmy Stat, some of those guys. It's fun to listen to them break this shit down, and Cube, when they started putting together the league, and, you and AI and everybody, there was such an excitement on it. And Cube, they asked me, because I've known Cube for a long time, from
movies,
and he's always been cool with me, always been, understand. He gets me, like he gets me, and he asked me to do it, and I was like, fuck yeah, and he wanted it to be a little bit more fun, and don't have to be so serious. You don't have to ask the players about what they just, what we just saw. You can break balls and talk a little shit. And because I have relationships with the guys, and I know their personalities, like you can't sit there and ask Gary Payton a normal question when if you talk shit to him, he's going to talk shit back to you. Or
definitely,
Scalabrini, it's like, yo, I'm not going to sit there and talk to you, Scal, when you got to break his balls. I was never able to do that with Doc and them, because I'm just like tripping. But
of course,
for the most part, it just, like trying to bring a little levity and some humor to the big three, because I think that's what it's about, because it's in the summer, the games are serious, but the guys, they're not taking it as serious, and the presentation doesn't need to be as serious. So I love doing it. I have so much fun doing it. I love seeing you guys get fucking nuts, like whether the dudes are playing or coaching and screaming, and the intensity, because like, like dudes turn that shit on quick. It's like, it doesn't go away, especially the younger dudes in the big three. Like they're out there. Some of them dudes are still trying to play for paychecks.
Yeah, definitely. For us, it was about the sport and being around the guys, like you were saying earlier. And we can relate about just, it's not so much about the game. It was about us going back to the hotels and hanging out in the lobby, playing cards, being in the same locker rooms, and like all that kind of shit. So that's what it was about for a lot of us in the big three.
Yeah.
That shit was dope for us to be able to do that and continue that, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
Piggyback on Cube, like I don't mean to go back, but piggyback on Cube. How often, well, it's probably not so much now, but after higher learning, how much hate or shit came with playing that part?
It's
being
crazy.
When the movie came out, being when the movie came out.
That was like, whatever it was, I think it was 95, 96.
Yeah.
I was definitely like, it crossed my mind when I was doing the movie, like, and when the movie came out, that, people would bug out off of it. And, the movie had done well, and it had it got seen by a lot of people. But, it's crazy. That movie and that character, in terms of, like in the hood, if I'm in the neighborhoods, I'm in black people in general, they love that fucking movie, and they love the character. Obviously they didn't love what he represented, but they loved how genuine the portrayal was. So it's not like they were like, yeah, that was dope, but I was concerned. Like I thought people would like, be able, like they would get it confused. Like, is this dude really, like that?
Yeah.
But people, I never had not one person question me or come up to me with any sort of disrespect or, like thinking that it was the real thing. And, and I'm glad about that. And, it was a dope opportunity to play a part that was different for me. It was a dope, to be so young and to be around all those actors, Cube and Omar Epps and the late, great John Singleton and Regina King and, all those guys. Like I was such a fan of all theirs going into the movie. It was fun doing it. It was just a fun.
And that probably was Busta's first movie, right?
I think that was Busta's first movie. And like, them dudes, like, I'm like a big fucking fan. Like I'm with Busta Rhymes, and Cube was just coming off of Boys in the Hood, and it's Ice Cube. Like I've been fucking with Ice Cube since I'm 17. Like, and I'm, that's the same thing. You're like, I'm up in here with Ice Cube, and Cube is sort of low key, and he's very he's kind of quiet. People don't think that, like he's not like a outgoing person, and he was like that when we were doing the movie. I'd be asking him about this record and that lyric and all that shit, and I thought he didn't like me, and I was like, he's just kind of a low-key dude. But they were all cool to me, fun. We had fun doing the movie, and it was, it's like the time of your life. You're 25 years old, you're working with John Singleton, and then Omar Epps was just coming off of Juice. It was fucking dope. Like I was like excited to be a part of it, and excited to be with people that I'm a fan of. Cause that shit gets you, you like, you respect them and you're like, they bring out the best in you. Cause you've seen them get down and you've seen what they could do. So you're like, yo, I got to come with my shit too. So they could see what the fuck I could do.
That's what's up. And you were you played a part in a TV show that I really fell in love with, Prison Break.
Yeah, that was fun. A lot of ball players like that. I think because you guys it was on it was definitely when you were in the league, it was on.
Yeah. Because we were able to it was this gentleman out of Houston that was he was, I forget what it's called, jailbreaking like iPads and all that kind of hard drives. He was just downloading everything to hard drives, and Prison Break was one of the series on there. But I watched Prison Break. I watched After the Break, and I watched the whole 9 yards, man. But you did a great job, man.
Yeah, we had fun doing that.
Yeah, you did a good job in that, man. That's what's up.
It was fun. It was fun. It's a fun part, fun show. And I'm lucky to be doing it, to still be doing it. I have fun. I appreciate probably all the shit that I get to do now more than ever. Because, when you're young and you're doing everything is sort of happening so fast, and, you don't have any time to get any perspective. When you look back at the people that I've gotten to work with, and the opportunities and the good movies and the bad movies and the good shows and the bad shows, it's all just, you enjoy it. And I'm fortunate to, still be rocking and kind of like at the, in the, it's different for sports as for actors and artists, because we could go to the wheels fall off, and hopefully I'll get a chance to keep doing it, because I love it so much. And, and I just have so much fun, whether it's doing stand-up, whether it's podcasting, or being on set, acting in front of a camera. It's just, I love it. I love it so much.
Have you lost any opportunities, or have anything been taken off the table because of your distaste for number 45?
That's a good question. I don't think I've lost any opportunities. I know that, people, because I've been so outspoken in the way I do it, it's funny because, I've been in this business for so many years, and, up until, the social media era, and really, this president, people, I've never really thought twice about my personality. I kind of, to myself and do my shit, and you promote things and stuff like that. But because of, everything that we've dealt with in the last 4 years, like I've never spoken about politics. I've never paid attention to politics like a lot of us. I'm sure you're the same way. Like, it's not really affecting you. You pay your taxes, you get, and, okay, Barack's cool. And, okay, this is, it is, I never spoke on it. To be honest with you, I never cared about it. I never, I voted, but I just kind of like asked my mom or my father, who should I vote for? They tell, okay, I go vote. And all that stuff. But this dude has been so antagonistic. In my opinion, he's still, the thing that, because like I'll ask myself from my wife, or, like even when I'm doing, interviews, like they'll be like, what is it about him that makes you so, upset to the point where I'll get in front of a camera and be like, say what I say, is because he's so inappropriate and so antagonistic for a president. Some people say, well, you talk shit. I go, I'm a comedian. I'm an actor. Yeah. I'm not the fucking president of the United States. And if I was the president of the United States, I would conduct myself in a way that was, just like if you're at a board meeting or you're doing something with business, you present yourself like in a
certain manner. Yeah.
Yeah. You show up suited and booted or whatever. But this motherfucker, he's just so full of shit, and the lying and the antagonism and the, it's like we see this right here, and he's trying to say, well, that's not really right there. I'm like, but I have it in my hand. Like I
fucking see it. I can feel it. Like
it's in my fucking hand. You trying to tell me this isn't here. So, I don't think I've, in regards to losing, I haven't lost things. I've always worked and all that stuff, but I know it's made people sometimes, I think it's made people a little bit like, what the fuck, or is he really like that? Which I'm not really like that, but
certain people bring certain things out of you. Like,
and I feel like it's necessary, for
definitely
me,
necessary
for me to say something. I know not everybody is is the same way. I know not everybody will be the same way. I know a lot of people might have the same feelings, and I don't expect everybody to act the way I act. But for me, with this dude, like he just, I just felt like, and it was when we were doing the Big Three, when it really got me. The first time people saw me talk like that was when the Charlottesville thing happened. Like I was so offended by that shit.
Yeah,
like I was so offended by what happened, and the way it was like, going on. And that was the first one that sort of like, outside of sports, because I had talked shit about sports, but it's fun. Even when I'm like, fuck LeBron or fuck the Knicks, it's still coming from, is a sense of silliness. It's sports, it's silly. Even if your team sucks or your team wins, it's theater. It has nothing to do with my personal life. And I try to make that clear when I'm doing it. But this shit,
it's fucking affecting people's lives, and he's a fucking
morale.
It's
affecting people's morale, and the divisiveness is just not okay. So that's what it is
by any stretch of imagination.
It's not okay, so that's what happened. But I've always continued to work, and the majority of people, based on the response that I get in real life, and the response I get from, in regards to my business, people love it. They love it and they respect it. And, it's going to be what it's going to be. I mean, I don't think that I'm ever going to be, I'm never going to be America's sweetheart. I never was America's sweetheart. I'm never going to be full blown apple pie. It's just not who I am. It's not the way I look. It's not the way I sound. It's not the way I speak.
Yeah.
I'll always continue to work because, I know that I'm honest to myself and genuine. And I think at the end of the day, you can't take that away from me.
So have the Secret Service gave you a call yet, or have they came knocking on your door?
I don't want that. They haven't. Out of all the shit that I talk, I'm not crazy. Like I'm not like I'm gonna do this or this should happen.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that way, and I certainly wouldn't say it because
But I asked you this before, and you said you think about like before you go in, like you actually put thought into it, which not a lot of people could understand, or like, no, he just fucking ranting. Like, ain't no way he thought about this. Like
no,
but
I
you
think
that
about
good.
it.
Yeah, definitely.
And also you got to make sure you don't say something like, things could be misconstrued. Like, as far as the Secret Service would be the best situation. There's crazy people out there. So, I'm aware of what I'm saying. I'm also a performer. That's the thing, in regards to whether it's sports, whether you're on the TV shows or I am a performer, and the funny thing is that when people see me in real life, like we've hung out, like I'm not screaming and yelling all the time. It's like it's a tone that I go to, but I'm not, it's like I do it. I can talk my shit and then that's it.
Right,
it's just,
definitely. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
But people think when they see me in real life, they're like, Mike Rapp, what the fuck? Like I had a dude pull up yesterday when I was out walking my dog, parked his car and got out of his car and was like, yo, and I said, yo, my man, don't do that. He was like, I'm a fan. I said, yo, don't ever fucking get out of your car and run up on somebody in a dark street. Are you fucking crazy? He was like, I know, I'm a fan. I said, you fucking don't do that shit, man. He was like, I'm sorry. I was like, you should be fucking sorry. I'm walking my fucking dog out here. What the fuck are you doing, man? Like, what the fuck?
I can take this one of two ways. And listen, I'm gonna feel threatened. And it could be all bad, bro. Listen.
Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? And my wife I told my wife, she said, you probably lost a fan. I said, I don't want this motherfucker as a fan. He fucking literally pulled his car over and like was running at me. Like, and I'm like, I had to get myself in the karate
ready, like, definitely. Like, it's finna go down out here.
And it was all love, but I the way he ran out of his car, I was like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Don't do that shit. You put me, like, he had me fucked up, and it was like getting dark. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Oh shit, it's finally gonna happen.
Right. I'd rather the Secret
somebody
Service
got tired of it. Somebody got tired of it.
Right, or it's a LeBron fan or something.
You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you didn't got more shit for LeBron than you have about anybody else as of late, though.
It's funny. People get more offended about the sports shit specifically the Lakers, than they do about the politics, because, you know, I think most people feel the same with me, but like the sports shit is another thing, you know, where people, you know, listen, as much as I can't stand this team or that team or the New England Patriots, you know, and my Giants or the Lakers and LeBron or the Knicks drive me crazy, at the end of the day, none of what I say is fucking personal. If the Lakers fucking great, they won. I won in Miami. The fucking Golden State Warriors, the Knicks. At the end of the day, it's literally theater to me. It's like Game of Thrones or The Sopranos to me. It's like I'm in it. I care. I care, but like I have such respect, even for the players that I can't stand, whether it's Tom Brady and the Patriots and Bill Belichick, or LeBron in Cleveland, LeBron in Miami. Like, I have nothing but fucking, I love sports, and I know how great, whether it's you, LeBron, fucking Brian Scalabrine, or the guy who's worse than Brian Scalabrine, like, you guys are the best at what you do. You know, it's like, you know, you know, people, you know, one of the things about being around the big three is like, you know, to get to see, you know, and I've had this fortune, you know, to go to football practices with the Jets, or, you know, going to Knicks practices and watching, you know, Golden State Warriors practices. When you see, whether it's the number 1 dude or the number 12 dude or the number 15 dude, these are professionals. And the, like, going back to this Jake Paul, Floyd Mayweather shit, it's like, yo, you can't say no. I mean, you could say people ain't shit, but you even saying it within respect, like, these are the best of the best of the best of the best athletes. Like, there's guys in the big three I've never heard of. You watch them warm up, you think it's Michael Jordan. You know, like, people don't understand the level. They're professionals, professional athletes.
Man, it takes that time, man. It takes hours amongst hours, man. And both our walks of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to perfect what you were doing, and then, like you said, it took time. Like, it's not something that you picked up the first time and you got. Right.
You so know, I mean, I love it, and I love the shit talking and the, you know, in the sports, and I love it, and, you know, and during this fucking pandemic, you know, throughout the NFL and throughout the bubble, and, you know, looking forward to the 22nd when the NBA starts back up. I mean, what a blessing to have as a fan, because we're all in this shit. I mean, whether it's just the boredom, the health, you know, people are passing away, people's friends are passing away, you know, not being able to work, you know, because of, you know, my business, we're just starting to get going, or just sitting around the fucking house, to have the football games, the baseball games, hockey, whatever the fuck you're putting on in front of me. I'm like, I appreciate it more than ever. Like, I appreciated that fucking bubble more than shit. I don't care if fans, no fans. I know some of you guys are critical.
No, I think I watched every game. I thought it was good basketball, to be honest with you.
I mean, they came in. I mean, if you were in the bubble at that time, like, yo, there wasn't no distractions. Like, there was no fucking around. Like, it was just, you were playing ball. Yeah, you go take all the frustrations that you have, whatever it may be, you go right out there and take it out on the court, man, without any nothing else going on. And it was a good bump, man. Like, I fucking enjoyed it. You know Me too. It was like fucking NCAA game. It was the games at 10 a.m., games at 12 p.m. Like, every day I was like, yo, fuck, man, we need this shit. Yeah. Like, I was like watching. The basketball was on every room in the house at that point. Like, every fucking room all day. My wife was like, Jesus Christ. Like, she didn't understand. I was like, yo, all day. Every fucking day. I can't, 4 or 5. I gotta have this fix, man. Gotta have this fix, man. Like, that's what it is, man. Hey, Mike, man, I want to appreciate you, man, for joining me, man. It's been a pleasure. We had our time doing shows together and whole NBA season, actually, man. But this is something new for me, man. A different walk of life, man. I want to appreciate your time, appreciate your energy that you always bring, man, to Neat Unfiltered. And once all this cleared up, man, I'm pretty sure I have my wife fix something up special for you, man. Come over and get you a good grub in, man. So I would love that. And I appreciate you having me, and I'm glad you're doing your thing. And like I said, man, congratulations. I'm wishing your son so much luck, man. I'm just so happy for you and for your family. I can't even imagine how you feel. I can't wait to see him out there. Like, I'm just couldn't be happier for somebody, because I know just how good of a dude you are, and how emotional you are, and I just can't wait to see him. I just, you know, when he's on the court, I know when the games start back up, I know you're gonna just be in the crowd just crying because people think, oh, Kenyon, he's big bad, slam dunking, shot blocking.
Shit.
This fucking dude is
I
a
cry
fucking
like a damn baby.
crybaby.
Listen, I cried like a baby damn draft night. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure you did.
Hell yeah. So when he keep that ball go up on the 22nd, man, and he get out there for the first time and get his real bump, man, it's gonna be one of them days. So I'm more than likely I might shed one then.
I know you are, but that's the thing, because with your image when you played, you were fucking you were the last person you would think would be like, you were on some fucking slam dunk.
I still am still on all of that, but on the other side of that, when it comes to my family and certain situations and topics, man, everybody know, man, I'm a softy at heart when it comes to certain things, man.
True blue softy. You
know what I'm saying? Definitely.
But I appreciate you, K-Mart. I appreciate you having me.
Follow him at Michael Rapaport on Twitter and Instagram. Neat Unfiltered, you're definitely easy to find. Look him up, damn it. You'll be entertained. Neat Unfiltered is produced by NC Podcast for basketballnews.com and sponsored by only the best vodka, Grey Goose.